Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into Network Live TV, where we're going to talk about how to increase your networking efforts locally, nationally, or even internationally, as well as discuss things that will help you up your game online. We are here weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Sabrina Watson, founder of NetworkLiveVirtually.com, where you can grow your business through creating live virtual relationships all over the globe. Our meetings and membership are totally free, so don't miss your chance to network and build relationships with amazing people with us. We have over 600 registered users currently in over a dozen countries. So there are just amazing people everywhere to meet. I want to make sure that our audience knows we are looking for people who are absolutely serious about building their brand and their businesses while establishing their authority and creating a larger circle of influence to become hosts with us, to host virtual networking meetings. We're looking for people that have three main qualities. They're team players, they're self-motivated, and they're dependable. So if you feel like you have these qualities and you might be interested in becoming a host with Network Live Virtually, please reach out to me and we'll talk about the benefits of being a host with us. As always, I want to thank my co-host, Christy Smallwood, for being here today. Just love Christy Smallwood. So, and let me do a quick info on Christy Smallwood, and then we're going to talk about what she's been doing, what she's been up to this week. She is my co-host every Wednesday. Christy Smallwood is the author of The No Rules Way and Entree Networking and currently owns Eagle Eye Executives. Her background includes 20 plus years in media, marketing, advertising, and organizational management with focus on developing and launching new projects. Christy is a trained executive coach specializing in leadership communication. Her experience covers a variety of industries, ad agencies, radios, franchises, small businesses, corporate, and ministry nonprofits. So good morning, Christy, and welcome.
Morning. I'm awake today.
Yay. So you were just getting ready to tell me about last week. So tell me about last week. You had a whole gob of trainings. What was going on last week?
So yes, I had a whole gob of training. That's why I started to apologize for not being here last Wednesday, because I was actually at a client's doing a communication training. That was last Wednesday. So the first training last week was how to get my people to think for their own damn selves.
Yeah.
So how do I get my team to think for themselves so I don't have to micromanage them? I don't want to be over them. I don't want to have to tell them what to do all the time. So that was the focus of, I've done a client service workshop, 3 sessions, on basically how to develop that client experience, but then how do you think through it by yourself. So it's not just about a process, but it's how to be relational with people and how those soft skills of communication and self-awareness and how that plays out into a customer experience with the marketing agency I was working with. Mm-hmm. And there are a bunch of millennials, and we talked about generational differences and their big aha. I mean, you could just see the light bulbs go off whenever I said, okay, who all do we have in the room? And they're like, well, millennials, Christy, except for Kirk, which is the boss. And I said, okay, do you have millennials for clients? And they just went, no. I said, are you talking in your language or your client's language? And they just went, God. Right? Wow. I was like,
so
yes.
What does that mean? Let's talk about what does that mean. First of all, what's a millennial? Who's a millennial?
So the millennials are those that are born 1999 and later. Mm-hmm. So 1999, 2000, 2001, that kind of stuff. And then I think it's 1999 or 1992, somewhere in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then from that point to 69, 67, 69, that's the Gen Xers. So I was 74. I'm dead center Gen Xer. Then you've got baby boomers, and then before baby boomers are traditionalists. Mm-hmm. And a lot of their clients are baby boomers and traditionalists that are coming wanting digital marketing. And those people they've not grown up with it. They don't know the language of digital marketing, website, SEO, all that kind of stuff that goes into that. They're not as familiar with the language. They are business owners that need this taken care of by the digital agency, which are supposed to be experts. But there's this big disconnect in the language of words, even of what I understand the word chat to be. So it was really interesting for me because I'd done this before in a leadership group where I had a traditionalist and a Gen Xer sitting next to each other. And I said, okay, Hank, the traditionalist, when I say the word chat, what does that mean to you? And he said, we're going to sit across the table and have a conversation. And Barry, the Gen Xer next to him, he's like, no, that means we're going to get online and chat, doing this. And Hank was like, what are you talking about? I don't do this. So understanding that
so you're really saying between those generations, there really is a whole nother language. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, those specific words have people in different generations have different pictures of what that word plays out to look like. Now, for millennials, chat means any form of communication across any platform. Snapchat, HipChat, Twitter, Facebook, all of the digital stuff, as well as picking up the phone to talk to somebody, as well as sitting down to have a conversation with somebody. It means all of it. They have no limitations on that word. But yet a traditionalist is going to say, I want to have a chat with you. And if a millennial picks this up and starts to do this, that traditionalist may be like, I don't want to text. You need to call me. They have to be very specific about what.
So chat to them means pick up the phone.
Typically, stereotypically, that's what that's going to be. Now, a lot of people have had to learn to adjust because we get it that things have changed so exponentially fast. We have to jump on with the technology or we are going to get left behind. Nobody's going to adapt to our old ways. We're always moving forward. So
right.
we have to learn to keep moving forward with the change, with the technology. So that was interesting. That was the first one. The second training last week was about marketing strategies for small business, and we focused on online stuff. And I started with, what their website needs to look like, what are the elements they need to have, how to design it, the features to look for, what not to do. And that's just with the website. And then I taught them how to understand what SEO really means, how to play nice with Google. And something that came out of my mouth that you might find interesting is when I was trying to explain it to them and give them a good analogy of Google. Like, they don't understand all this Google stuff. Well, Google is your networking partner. Think online. Google is going to go out. He's going to look at your stuff. But think of Google as your over-analytical buddy online. He wants to know where your stuff is. He's going to read all your data. He's going to know your online presence inside and out. And he's going to look and say, oh, Christy's really active. I'm going to make sure I give her some kudos when she's out there.
By giving her some visibility.
Exactly. So I'm like, that's how Google's referral system works. When you're networking with Google, you got to show Google that you're active. And active looks like this. And we walked through, metadata, alt tags, backlinking, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, here's the education on it. This is why people get hired to do this work for you, because there is a lot of moving parts. But it's how do you network well with Google as a referral source? Google's a referral source for us online. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday was coming into a team to get them to all communicate better as a team, because different personalities play out with different language skills.
Again, different languages? Are we talking about different languages again?
Different languages again. And it was really interesting because I had 5 women in the room, not counting myself, and 1 guy.
So how did that play out?
It really well, because he had some aha stuff, and so did they. And because I had to remind them, I'm like, ladies, you've got to be patient with him. Men think compartmentally. They're going to pick this file up, they're going to pick this box up, open it up, work in just this box, and then close the box and put it back on the shelf and pick up another box. Whereas women, we pick up a whole box of Legos, throw them out on the table, and we just start playing with all of it at once. No, that's not how guys think. You have to be patient. If he comes to you very strong about one thing, don't deviate from that subject with him. Keep it efficient, and he will work with you. And I told him, I'm like, you got to be prepared on those days. Don't walk in the room and say, what's wrong with you? That's not the phrase to ask. Ask something totally off that is important to them, hey, how the kid do in that baseball game? And if she starts boo-hooing, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to come back, or is there something I can do to help? And just let her vent. Sometimes you don't have to solve anything. And he's like, oh my gosh. So we did some emotional intelligence work. We did personality stuff. We did core values.
Emotional intelligence.
Yes,
Where
ma'am.
did those two big words come from? And what does that mean? Not to cut you off, but I got to know.
All right. Well,
got to know.
let me see if I can reach it. So this guy here, Daniel Goleman, is the forefront of groundbreaking in emotional intelligence. And it's kind of funny because he is a guy and most women are considered to be emotional creatures, and yet a guy wrote the book. It's always cracked me up. So emotional intelligence is basically being aware of one's own emotional state as well as aware of another's, to be able to discern what's going on with that, and then how to use that emotional energy for something good, how to turn it into something good. So everybody, every person, male, female, I don't care where you're from, I don't care your background, we all carry emotions with us because we're carrying experience, and there's an emotion attached to an experience. How then does that emotion get played out in a day? Well, that's going to be according to personality. Some people kind of hold it all in. Some people wear their heart on their sleeve, so to speak. So you can kind of see a personality depending on how they're using their emotions. But how does that emotion then play out? And how do we use that for our great conversation, communication? So that way you don't look at a person and go, oh, you're just being emotional. And so are you, because you just had a reaction. So there's emotional energy that is yet one more filter that we have to add into our communication. So how do we remove that filter? It's being self-aware, what's going on over here, having empathy for the person across the table as to what's going on over there. And then how do we start discerning? So having some discernment, being confident in that we can do this, and patient. We have to be patient with ourselves and other people through emotional energy, because it's almost primal sometimes whenever we get, especially let's talk about enraged. When you see white, and I know for a lot of women, if I start crying and I'm that mad, you don't want to be in the same room. Right? We've all had those moments at some point. Well, there's an emotional intelligence about that. The intelligence part is, can I see what's really going on here? And then can I work through that? So now it's how do we take that emotional intelligence and place it into the workplace for effective communication? So that's how I use the emotional intelligence part.
Very interesting. So what is this person's name again?
Daniel Goleman.
So that's a book you've read, I take it?
Yep. And I've done a training. I've been at a training. I have not done the training. This was the last, I did I incorporated this into last Wednesday's training on the team communication. Because it is a bunch of women, and we need to learn how to work with our emotions, not let our emotions rule us. So how do we then take control, be more in control and confident? We can have emotions. We have emotions anyway, but how do we work with that? Like, how do we work through our own self to figure out what's going on, and how can I be fully present in this moment and not negatively affect other people? So this is honestly, this started with me taking control of me, and now I'm able to train other people on it.
That is a pretty vast arena, don't you think? I mean, sometimes things feel so overwhelming to people. And do you find that that's an issue when you're trying to teach people some of these techniques? Is that they become very overwhelmed? Because to me, when you talk about that, I view it as throwing a goldfish into the ocean.
Yes. Yes. And that can be an initial feeling, and that's why you work through the steps of it. I will start with that concept of who we are determines what we do and how we do it. And they're all like these gears that work together. And the grease that greases those gears, that keeps it fluid, is twofold. Ask the question, why? Why am I doing it this way? Why am I the way that I am? What is really going on? And then it also allows for this great opportunity to develop a why statement. This is why I do what I do. A confident purpose statement can come out of that evaluation. So what I do is I just back people up into looking at, this who gear as part of it. I place it like this, and let's start looking at all the elements. Think of the watch gears. You've got gears on top of gears on top of gears, and all of that. Let's start here at the base, and let's work on just this one subject first. So I clear the clutter. Let's find the one foundational piece to start with, and then that way all the gears will start lining up, and it all starts to make sense, and it moves much better together. That's how I approach it. So that way, and I don't start out with emotional intelligence. That way, once we get to the emotional intelligence subject, I could take it better. My clients can take it better at the table because they're getting it, because I'm able to back up and say, because their core value has been attacked, because they're expressing it through their personality, because they're part of this generation or this education level. This is why they're expressing it through their emotion. You have the opportunity to be more intelligent about the emotion that's coming out. So it's the emotion. The emotion isn't the first thing of the equation. Core values actually is. What's our base belief set? How do we express that through our personality? All of that then comes out into, if we are communicating the what we do, how we do it is determined by who we are. And that's pretty much how I train all that. But yeah, there's a lot of moving parts in that.
Wow. So let's talk about what you got going on today. I want to make sure to get your link in here for people, because you have a virtual networking meeting happening today at 2 p.m. Eastern. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I'm very excited.
And tell me about your guest. You have the amazing Dr. Amy
Cannata. I know, because she was on a blab session with us. And I took the opportunity and jumped on that and got her the very next day to agree to do this. And I'm glad that she had the time open for it. So I'm excited to hear. She's going to talk a little bit about how to be a vibrant entrepreneur, because she is a business and vibrant living coach. So how do we live out our entrepreneurship in a vibrant way? So I'm very excited, because I've not heard it. I don't know if she's got a set. I just have heard her speak before. So I've really enjoyed that conversation, and I can't wait to have her today.
Yay. She's very feel good. Yeah, she makes you feel good when you're hanging out with her. So yeah, it's pretty cool. She's very beautiful, very dynamic, very feel good. So yeah, that'll be exciting. And that's at 2 p.m. today. That's 2 p.m. Eastern time. And the link is there in the chat. So like I said, on Blab, we've been having really, I don't know what's going on with Blab. We've got some really reduced visibility these days, but they're making so many changes on here. Have you been putzing around Blab at all much lately?
Not over the past week. So yeah, I'm guessing there's just been a ton going on.
Well, do you see now where you can put a link in down below? Check that out. You see where it shows your... Do you see where it shows can you see your Entre Networking post that I put in?
I see that.
In the seat?
Oh.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah. And so I just clicked to view. Oh, and it takes you straight to the link.
Yeah, check that out. And you can put a video in there now. You can put a YouTube link in there, and it'll play a video for you. Yeah, Blab's going to be a ton of fun.
Wow.
So let's talk about what you do typically, Christy. Do you have any? Do you got any live events coming up? And where are you located? Let's start there. Where are you located?
I'm located in Louisville, Kentucky. I can travel anywhere, especially if it's paid for. So I have no issues with traveling. But I am located in Louisville, Kentucky, and we are already. It's the end of March. However, spring has sprung, and we are all ready for Derby season.
I was going to say Derby's coming up.
Derby's coming up, and Derby means 2 weeks of parties for a 2-minute race. Love it. I mean, you have no reason to not. I mean, like, if you complain about not having something to do during those 2 weeks, you are just not even looking, because there's at least 5 events a day during Derby season. It's they're everywhere.
Yep. I used to live there. I know that I told you that once. And that 2 weeks, is that whole 2 weeks Thunder over Louisville? How long is the Thunder over Louisville event now?
Thunder over Louisville is the one-day event, 2 weeks prior to the Derby. So 2 Saturdays before the
It's
Derby.
the launch for those
Mhm.
2 weeks for the Derby.
It's the launch. Yep. So they have the air show and activities during the day, and then they finish the whole day night out with the fireworks spectacular, where they basically blow up the bridge. Is what it looks like. They don't. The bridge is still there, but it's got all that stuff coming off the bridge. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
the
fun.
first one I was at, I'm not even sure how many years ago it was now, but I remember it was when the stealth bomber was new.
Mm-hmm.
So it flew over the city, and that was like, whoa, kind of looked like Batman.
That was awesome. I remember that one.
Does the stealth bomber still in the air show or no? What do they got going on for an air show now?
Not every year. They'll bring it back every so often, but not every single year.
Mm-hmm.
They've had the Blue Angels. I think they were here 2 years ago. I'm not sure about last year. I kind of didn't pay attention last year. I was trying to work on my business.
It's only the biggest event in the year, so I mean, I don't know why you would pay attention, right?
I don't know. Yeah. Usually I'm like, oh, look, there's another plane, and I don't go down there very much. I've only been down to see it twice, because if you're in the area, they have it on the TV. There's been some years I would work, and where I worked, we were on the 10th floor, so I was able to look out my window, have the TV on in our reception room, have the TV on, watch the window, still be working, and like, oh, this is nice, and I hear the music perfectly. I don't have to deal with the people. I see the fireworks. It was awesome. That was actually one of my favorite experiences, because I didn't have to mess with the people that year. But it is wonderful. The energy is amazing this time of year, because everybody's ready to.
They're ready to party.
They're ready to party. They're ready to break out for sure.
And when is the Kentucky Derby? That's not till May, right?
Correct. It's always the first Saturday of May, which is also the time to put out the hummingbird feeders around here. And you're not supposed to plant stuff till after the Derby either, so it doesn't get frost, just in case.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but my garden's already that tall.
I'm so ready for a garden type thing. Oh, look, Charlene's here. Yay.
Charlene, feel free to pop in if you'd like and say hello. We're just, myself and Christy Smallwood are just sitting here chatting away, talking about Thunder over Louisville and what's going on in
Thunder
Louisville.
over Louisville. Good night. That's crazy time.
I know, it's coming up.
Hi, Charlene. I miss you.
Hi, Christy. I miss you too. Oh, finally, I get to tell my followers I'm on Blab. I couldn't tell them on mine.
You couldn't? How come?
Oh, please. It's Blab. I don't know.
Yeah, Blab's weird lately. Have you noticed that? It's like totally whacked out.
Big changes in the background happening. I mean, it's obvious from some of the small changes we're seeing up in the forefront. So big changes. Lord knows what'll happen. I don't know. I'm just going with it. I show up.
Well, Charlene, you happen to be here, so say hello to everybody. Tell them what you do, because, this will be on our recording and where they can find you and all that good stuff.
I would be happy to do that. Let's see here. Right now, I'm talking about my mastermind groups. I have 2 forming. One starts April 12th, meeting the second and fourth Wednesday of every month for 90 days from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then the second one starts, is that April 12th? No, that was April 13th. Sorry. May 12th is the second one. That's the second and fourth Thursday of the month at 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time, 90 days. Go to onlinemastermindgroup.com to learn more about those. Now, I am a marketing and search consultant. I work with businesses and individuals to help them get things straightened out. And I'm a trainer. I have live workshops happening now. I love to train, and I'm got some live workshops that are launching. So really the best place to catch things about what's happening, learn about me, is www.growbecauseyouKnow.com.
You got a workshop. You're in the middle of some workshops with Moira Hutchinson too, right?
Moira Hutchinson. Oh, and they're wonderful. Yeah, I'm learning so much from her. And what's fun is she comes back and says, I'm learning so much from you. I say, yeah,
Don't
great.
you love that?
Oh, and then we have the students. Yeah. So this one that we're doing is called Mindful Social Selling. She's a licensed hypnotherapist, licensed wellness coach, certified in multiple ways, and incredibly knowledgeable about the inner workings of who you are and your mind. And the idea is to teach you how to prepare yourself as you approach social media to begin selling yourself and your product. And it's working, you know. And what I do is the hands-on technical stuff. Here is what you do. Here are the goals that you set. Here are the worksheets, checklists, everything you need to move forward. So we've got it broken down into 5 individual workshops, building on each other.
So you guys, have you already had one of them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They're in action right now. We're recording each one, and the recordings and downloads are available whenever. So somebody could jump in now. They could, check it out 6 months from now. You can go to, it's a bit.ly, bit.ly / mindful social selling workshop.
There you go, everybody.
bit.ly,
bit.ly / mindful social selling workshop.
That's it. And then I've got a couple more that are launching. And actually today, in about half an hour, I've got a team meeting. We're in the process of recording sessions, lessons, if you will. And we're going to put a series of videos together about the law of success. And
wow.
That will include handouts, downloads, if you will. The idea is that the initial video, which is kept short to 30 minutes or less, is an introduction to the concept. It's all based on the Law of Success book by Napoleon Hill. So we aren't trying to take that and expand on it or anything. It really is. This is the father of John Assaraf, Law of Attraction, the father of. This is what Bob Proctor got successful from. And everybody you hear about who talks about Think and Grow Rich, and Tony Robbins, this is where this is the foundation of everything everybody else is doing. So we're keeping it real. These 30 minutes, here's the introduction. This is the principle. This is what it means. It's all straight from the book. This is what it means in today's language. And here are some supporting documentation, including a PDF of that principle, so that you have anywhere from 40 to 70 pages of information to work from. And then we have a private private Facebook group that you can go from the videos, go into the group and have additional discussions. Our plan is to then go into live workshops, and almost like mastermind groups where we can gather and talk about them, give you more like a support group, I guess, rather than a mastermind, where you can get together and let's talk about this principle. And what'd you think? What are you stuck on? What's happening? That sort of thing. So that's exciting stuff. Soon to launch. Should be done in a couple weeks.
Congrats. Yay!
Yeah. So, it's exciting stuff. Good stuff.
Well, I wanted to apologize for this morning. So, Christy, I was on Charlene's meeting and didn't realize my mic was open.
And I couldn't mute her because my screen wouldn't get large enough. My taskbar kept getting in the way. Oh, my gosh, it was funny. It's like, oh, glory. But it was still a good meeting. I'm surrounded by my favorite people. Everybody, do you know April? April!
I don't know April. Here, let me get this thing out of the window.
All right.
April.
So, Christy, I love you. Sabrina, I like you. I have met the P in my pod. We are 2 peas in a pod, April and I. We've hit it off. I don't know when we met, but 6 months ago, if that long. I swear to God, we have to meet every Thursday. If we don't meet on Thursdays, we're both like, And
what's going on
when
Thursday?
We do it awesome. Well, that's when we meet each other. She and I have our private little meetings, and then we're working on something ourselves that launches April 9th.
Peas in a pod withdrawal.
That's it.
Well, April, come on in. Say hello. Tell us who you are.
Meet my friends, April. Yeah. Now, Christy lives in my area, and Christy gives awesome hugs. I've known Christy for quite a few years. Actually, she wrote about me in her book.
I did, and I'm still going to write about you in the next book.
And I get to be in the next book.
Speaking of the book, what's going on with your book, Christy?
Yes. Tell us about your book.
Well, I would love to tell you about the book. However, I've not been able to touch it for a few weeks because
Oh,
for some reason I keep meeting people who want to actually work with me. So
well, priorities.
right, it's really there. And then of course I run, so like last week everything was packed in so tight the whole week. I already knew it ahead of time. I took a day where I did pretty much nothing so I could prepare for the week. I did all last week, and that now I have looked. This morning was my first morning where I could kind of ease into the day, and I looked around going, holy crap, what the hell happened around here? So I need to clean my apartment.
Big old list of stuff to do as soon as you wake up, right? As soon as you dig yourself out of that hole of everything that's been happening.
Well, let me just say, it took me 30 minutes to clean off my desk to do this blab today. So
I just want to
I'm so happy for you. I am so happy for you, though. Stepping
And
out
you're
on
not
your own.
surprised, are you,
It's,
Charlotte?
no, not at all. It's been recent that she stepped out on her own, people. This has been recent. This isn't like me. I'm still waiting for my 10-year overnight success to happen. I've only got 2 more years, and then I'll right. No, this is happening for her. And this is her first year of being out on her own. This is fabulous. I love you.
month 3, and I'm finally working on revenue for May, not next week.
Right.
Right.
Awesome.
We know
place
how
to
that
be.
works. Yeah,
So happy for you.
All right, Sabrina, it's all yours. I know you want to do a cut in, so
No, it's okay. I'm going to put
Commercial.
it there. Yeah, it's commercial time. I want to remind everybody that you can also find Christy Smallwood at 2 p.m. Eastern time for her live virtual networking group. There is the link. You can register and join us. She has the amazing, well, you tell everybody, what do you got going on today? Why am
Please
I
tell us about Amy. I don't know about Amy.
So the wonderful Dr. Amy Kanata is amazing. She knows her stuff. She's got a great story of just overcoming so much personal adversity in life. Single mom, went out on her own, all this kind of stuff. She's got this great story and how she is now a business and vibrant life coach. So I'm like, the vibrant aspect of, well, how do we incorporate vibrancy into our life? So that's the title I gave her for this week, how to be a vibrant entrepreneur. And she's excited and loving it. She's like, oh, I can't wait. And I'm like, well, neither can I, because it'll be really fun to hear. And she does have a book called Perspective, and it has a little purse on the front of it. Mm-hmm. So it's talking to how to be resilient and how to have persistence and resiliency. So that's going to be exciting to hear her this afternoon.
But you don't have her book yet.
I don't have her book yet because I just met her 2 weeks ago, and of course then I hit my run of I love everybody, but this is where I am right now. Sorry.
I know. See, we need a girls' night out, which is it's coming on spring, so that equates to baseball. We go to a ball game,
proud of us,
or to go shoot pool.
That's right. We took the EWI girls to Diamonds last week.
You took them to shoot pool? Yes, my work. Well, all these girls' night outs, right? Everybody goes to the bar and they get sloppy silly and nothing. It's like, that's not fun to me. I don't drink, but it's also not fun to watch you drink. So, and you don't say anything after the second drink. Trust me, you don't.
You don't say anything. You just babble.
That's it. So a couple of, I don't know how long ago, I love baseball, especially minor league. And I think it was on Facebook. I threw it. I don't know. Anyway, so Christy was on board. I said, listen, let's get some girls together. Let's just go to a ball game. And we did. And so every once in a while we go. Well, here with our minor league, on Friday nights, you get a fireworks show in addition to the ball game.
Wow.
So we really do make it a girls' night out. And then I finally got up the nerve to ask them if they were up for shooting pool. So I can't get them all together in groups, but although Dana and Christy joined me, was it
New Year's.
Some holiday? It was New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, was that it? Yeah, we were the only ones in the place. It was awesome at Diamonds, which is what you're talking about. But I've done others where, yep, for networking. Karen's one of them. Karen Milner. Yep, for networking. Sure, let's go to the pool hall. I'm up for that. Okay. We have a ball. Yay! I'm glad you took
Yeah.
EWI, Professional Women's
We
Group.
did. Executive Women International at the pool hall.
Love it.
There you go. That'll work, right?
Yes, it will.
Fantastic. You had a good time too, didn't you?
We did. We did. It was good.
And they have decent food. I mean, it's what like a half step above regular bar food. It's more like pub food. So
Yeah, their salad actually looked really good. I didn't choose the salad, but I was like, I should have. I could have done that. Oh well.
so
Now I know.
now you know. I'm so proud of you. I'm telling you, you know, my secret mission is to change the world one pool hall at a time.
One pool hall. Did you know? I don't know if you know this, Charlene, but in the villages down in Florida, they have over 300 pool tables.
Where?
In the villages, not an hour from me, they have over 300 pool tables.
Well, I bet you they hold big tournaments then because they can handle them.
No, it's not in one. It's not in one building. This is an entire community.
Oh, well, I'm going.
Yeah, you'll have to come. When you come down, I'll take you over there and I'll show it all to you.
There you go. I'll bring my stick. Always, I bring my stick everywhere I go. So, because you just never know when you can get a pickup.
You never know when you get to a good game of pool.
And Christy was talking about coming down. She goes, "I'm going to take you up on that offer," and then I never heard from her again.
Well, okay, so here's the status on that. You are my 12-week reward when I get down to 2 sizes. So this is my transformation because I'm part of a transformation program right now.
Oh, I feel your pain.
Fantastic.
I'm in the middle of that transformation too.
I am down 10 pounds. Let's make no mistake, this stuff is working.
You're rocking it. High five to
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Yes. Almost 3 inches around my waist, 10 pounds. Yes, it's working. So when I hit that 2 size mark, which is my 12-week goal, you are my reward, Sabrina. I'm coming to Florida.
When's that?
I do what?
Because if I can put it on my calendar, I will. I'm going to be in Nashville at the end of April.
It'll be after Derby.
Well, why don't
After
you guys
Derby
plan it together and come down together?
That's what I'm thinking.
Derby will be the 7th of May because that's the first Saturday of May. So we'll look at sometime in the second week of May. Road trip.
Yeah, I have no
I'd invite
plans
April,
right
but she's
now.
up in near Seattle, Washington. No road trip.
That's all right. They got airplanes up there too. I don't even get that part. What do you mean? You got airplanes up there?
So I either need the second week and be back by that Friday, or the the week of the 22nd.
If you guys come down here, I'm telling you, you'll never leave.
I'm telling you. All right. So the 26th is my birthday. Would that not be fun? Yes, it would, just so you know. So
I think Charlene should bring her hubby, though.
Oh, he'll never leave. I'll bring him. He's not. Oh, yeah. He loves Florida. Tentatively, just jot down that week of the 22nd, and we'll finalize we'll look at some details and finalize it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure hubby would love to hit the swamp with mine.
Oh, well, and
he wants a boat ride.
There's one day.
Just so you know.
There's one day I got to go back to Orlando and conquer one of those rides that I could not get on before because of my size.
Okay.
That's part of the reward system, is I'm going back and conquer that sucker.
Are you going to do that while we're there? Or is that one of those I'm going to watch you? Because I'll be happy to watch.
You can either come watch, or y'all go do something on your own, and I'll go by myself. I don't have a problem doing that.
That's an expensive reward. It's like $100 just to get in there to conquer that these days.
Right, which means I also have financial goals that I have to hit for this reward system. But I'm on the way for that. I'm on the way because I've got some more reach outs, and I've got some things that I truly believe God's in control of for the big elephants.
Excellent.
And I'm working on my little things.
See, all right. So the Blab Boot Camp, which I was talking about, the one that launches April 9th, April, right there. She's the one that's working with me on that. It's a half day. We need to get people there. Thank you very much. So that I can go to Florida, so I can hang out with Christy and shoot pool with Sabrina. Yeah, you know.
And the Entre Networking Boot Camp is now back to the top of the list of things to get done by next week, so that I can schedule around Sabrina, because I know you're going to be out for some things, and that way we can get that scheduled and launched.
Well, mine is just weekend things. I'm going to take off April 28th, I'm going to go to DC for another Danny Johnson seminar. And
Oh, fantastic.
I booked it a couple days early this time and bought my ticket a couple days early and got my hotel a couple days early because I figure if I'm going someplace for a seminar, why not go a couple days early and see the area?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, duh.
Well, see, that's like I'm going to be down in Nashville the 20th through, I'm coming back the morning of the 25th, but it has to be morning. It's only a 4-hour drive because it's the final day of a workshop I'm doing with somebody else that afternoon. But I'm presenting about social selling using LinkedIn primarily on the 21st, but I'm going down.
Where Jen Lehner is?
Jen in Nashville?
What? Who? What? Where?
Jen Lehner?
I don't know. No. She's closer either Cincinnati or Columbus. She's in Ohio.
Oh, okay. That must be where Sally Hendrick is. It's where Sally Hendrick is then.
I'm not going to be able to meet up with anybody down there because when I am limited, but I am going to be taking a day to say hey to a few people, but mostly hang out with the people that I'm going down there with. So, But yeah, anytime you can add a day or two ahead of time, or turn it into a road trip. The best road trip I took was just about 2 years ago. I went to a national conference for an association I belong to. It's out in Denver. So I turned it into a 2-week trip.
Yeah, might as well.
On the drive out, I spent a long weekend with friends, got out to Denver, just took my time, spent some time in some really strange, interesting cities, towns. All right, so they aren't even on the map, but they were interesting anyway. One of them had outstanding steak. Couldn't tell you where it is because it's not on the map, but it was like the best steak ever, But I don't know where it is. I mean, my receipts tell me where it is, but it's not on the map.
But you can't find it. Yeah, I hear you.
Stayed in an Airbnb, rented a room in somebody's apartment who turned out she wasn't going to be there anyway. So I had the apartment to myself. So I could cook what I wanted to, and it was awesome.
So are Airbnbs like what Uber is to cabs? Are Airbnbs to hotel rooms?
Yes.
So you rent a person's private room?
I rented a room. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, and I had full access. I had a full, key. And she normally would have been there, but it turned out she had something else happening, so I had the whole place to myself. But I had the bedroom and the bathroom, access to the kitchen, and cost me $45 a night instead of the reduced price of like $215 a night at the Westin Hotel where the conference was. Yeah, think about that.
Yeah, seriously, right?
And even with parking and everything else, I still saved a tremendous amount of money and had cash, which allowed me to feel like I could budget out some cash for a little bit of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was just when marijuana became legal. So that was kind of fun to watch.
I'm not even sure I get that comment. What does that have to do with anything?
So it's the first time I want you to imagine walking downtown, any city, just downtown, where your big hotels are, right? You're walking downtown and you walk 2 blocks and big letters is pot shop.
Really?
Legal. Yes, it was legal. And recreational marijuana is legal. And there's the big leaf on the side, And I just stood there, and that was the first time I'd ever, really, knowing I couldn't afford it, I didn't get it. But I did think it's a shame I don't have Girl Scout cookies to sell.
Oh, right.
Well, wait a minute. You know about my donut shop franchise opportunity that will happen when it's legal in Indiana, don't you?
No.
I think you told me about this before.
When recreational marijuana, it must be recreational. I have all the, actually I had it all drawn up at one time, the ability or the opportunity to purchase a franchise titled Glazed and Confused. And it was going to be a pot shop right next to the dispensary, right? Or the pot shop would be right next to the donut shop. I wouldn't handle the pot because that's a cash business and insane. But
you were going to handle the donuts.
Yeah, and then I'd have an agreement with whoever was handling the pot. I have a
Genius.
Facebook. This is like back in 09 or 10 when I set up the Facebook page. I still get people liking the page. It's hysterical. Go look it up. Yeah, it's called Glazed and Confused. It's on 123 Puffer Lane. It's great. I still get notifications every month. You know, a handful
Oh,
of
you're
people.
doing a great job with your Facebook page.
They're liking the page.
Because they're clearly glazed and confused.
I just laugh and say, "Oh yeah, like that makes a lot of sense." All right, I don't even have anything on there anymore. But seriously, the page is still up. Here comes April.
Here comes
I am
Miss
surrounded
April.
by my favorite.
with that.
These are my favorite people this morning.
On blab that can get me to get dressed and put makeup on.
So
Hi,
hello,
April.
April. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Do I need to put my earbuds in or am I okay?
You sound fine right now. Yeah.
And I'm trying that webcam camera, Charlene, so we'll see if it, it seems like it's a little delayed. So I might have
Yeah, you still have a little syncing problem.
I spend so much money and this stupid thing doesn't work. Let me see if I can go back to my other one. Oh, it doesn't even give me an opportunity.
Well, I
Okay.
got to tell you. Let me tell you now. You look good with lips.
Thank
Good job.
you. And makeup, mind you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. See, we're truly ourselves when we meet on
Oh yeah.
on our Thursdays. It's
Usually I'm on the recliner and my hair's still bedhead and yeah.
It's like church.
So I am a social media trainer for marketing decision makers, and I live in Washington State, which means that every time Charlene gets up and says, it's the beginning of the morning, I say, no, it's still the middle of the night. What else can I tell them about myself, Charlene?
April, where are you at?
Washington State.
Where in Washington State?
Are you familiar with the area?
From Spokane.
Okay, I live in Leavenworth.
Okay. Oh, I love Leavenworth.
Everybody says that.
I love Leavenworth.
Well, that's where April lives. That's a road trip, by the way.
Oh, it's more than a road trip to get there.
Well, but that's my intention, is to eventually get out there on a road trip.
You need to fly into Seattle and road trip to Leavenworth.
I'm going to unplug this camera because it won't let me change, so you might lose me for just a second here.
Okay. Well, April also, what can I tell you about April? April is, do you know how detailed I am? Right?
Yes.
She's like takes that exponentially.
What?
Oh, yeah. Now, this is why I love her and why I love Christy so much. So I can sit and brain dump, right? And before you know it, it's all nicely organized in an Excel spreadsheet, and it's got little color coding happening, and it's labeled, and everybody knows exactly who's going to do what and when, and how it's going to happen, and when you're going to talk to each other, and what documents need to go to that document, and boom, it's a beautiful thing. She can take that clutter that's up in the head and wham, make it awesome. Which, by the way, I sent somebody to you. Her name is Michelle, and I recommended her to you to declutter her brain.
Oh, I haven't gotten anything.
That's all right. I just sent it to her earlier today, about an hour or so ago. So might not hear from her for a few days. But anyway.
Well, so brain is cluttered.
So yeah, here's an example. We had been working with a project management tool, and I didn't care for it. I always go back to Excel spreadsheets. So she and I are talking about Blab Boot Camp and some other things, and we're pulling things from a couple of different places. Again, we kind of got ourselves I was putting things where they ought not be and that sort of thing. And I just said, well, I prefer to work with Excel spreadsheets. And that's what I mean. She literally, while we're talking in 30 minutes, had everything moved from a project management software system over to an Excel spreadsheet, color coded, and boom, we're ready to go. It's awesome. So yeah, I don't know. Detailed, you call me detailed, that's an understatement. So
I think April's frozen.
She has.
She is frozen.
I am frozen. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And at least you're not frozen in
Oh,
one of those really weird ones, you know, like.
I know. I look like I'm like, I don't know.
You look like a school teacher.
Maybe thinking about.
Either a school teacher.
There you go. I'm going to.
Uh-oh.
Have you got
You guys
April?
are my students. I'm thinking of a hot tropical place on a beach.
Have you got April? Is she doing a presentation on one of your meetings, Charlene?
Not yet.
Oh.
It's too early in the morning for her.
Oh, yeah. That would be too early in the morning for her.
Yeah, 9 a.m. my time.
There we go.
Yeah.
No,
Maybe.
we can still can't see you. But you can tell us more about you. I've told them about
All right,
you.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Going back out and back in again.
Well, there must be some delay because she was gone and I could still hear her.
I know. Craziness.
That's
Welcome,
crazy.
Vlad.
And I don't have a whole heck of a lot of time. I'm going to open up the room shortly for another team meeting. The one with live success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Come on,
Well,
April.
let's just remind everybody real quick about Christy Smallwood's.
Yes, I'm hoping to
networking
make it.
meeting at 2 p.m. this afternoon. My plan is to make it as well with Amy Kanata. I don't know. When you talk about April organizing your brain dump, my brain is just like, it's a mess in there. I mean, it's like working my way through a jungle.
Yeah,
And
I know.
I can't get any of it.
She was describing to me what she used to do. She's a professional organizer, by the way. She's spoken internationally from the stage. She has helped hoarders organize their homes. I want you to think about that. The serious.
I can't even imagine that being possible.
So she was trying to describe to me that she was offering that as a consulting service, but wasn't quite sure what it looked like, and that, maybe accountability partners. And we were bandying things about, and I got it. And then I got it, right? So she was describing all this to me. And in all honesty, once I saw her in action, I realized I only got 90% of it. When I saw that she was able to take all of these documents, all of the handouts, all of the ideas for handouts for our workshop, and put it all into an easy to follow, organized spreadsheet, is when I saw her in action. And that's when I said, now I get it. That's pretty awesome. Welcome back.
God, Lab is not my friend this morning. I'm telling you. You know what? The universe is telling me it's too damn early for my ass to do a video.
See what?
April, so how do we find you? Do you have a website, Facebook page, what?
Yes, flirtingwithsocial.com. And that should lead you everywhere. I'm doing some work on it. So I came in when Charlene told you I used to work with hoarders. Basically, in my previous life, I was an organizing expert, hit the top of the field, got burnt out. And at the time, Twitter was taking off as the next marketing tool. And I'd been doing a year-long marketing research on why my hoarding clients would spend 8 to 10 hours a day with me, crying, bawling that they didn't want to live this way anymore. And yet I'd go to leave and there'd be packages, 10, 12 packages on the front porch from FedEx or UPS from their internet shopping. So I was researching shopping habits, which of course, led to marketing practices. And as Twitter started to take off, I was traveling the US speaking on mental clutter in a 2.0 world, and ran into mommy bloggers and just fell in love with them. And so through a progression of serendipitous evolution, I ended up in social media. And I helped brands. I had done some campaigns where I matched up bloggers and brands and, executed campaigns and things like that. And had just one too many people that I had to fight for my paycheck. And the guy was a real booger. And yeah, thank you, Charlene. And it just, led me to be burnt out on execution. And I realized that the majority of what I was doing in that job was teaching him what I was doing, and looked around and there wasn't really anybody doing any training. And so that's when I decided to shift gears and kind of adjust, not rebrand, but adjust. And so my company's always been Flirting with Social. The idea that I'm one of those people, I'm like, oh, I'm flirting with his haircut, or I'm flirting with this outfit. Like, are we going to date? Are we going to get married? And so I did the same thing with my approach to social media training is, come on, let's go flirt with Twitter. Let's go flirt with Facebook, and then, just kind of morphed into training small business, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, because a lot of times what you hear is, oh, I don't have the time or I don't have the money. Well, having the organizing background, I could teach them productivity, but I could also teach them best practices. And so that's really what my practice is about, is pulling in productivity, best practices, and then going and executing on your own until you realize not only the value of what it takes to do social media, but now you can hire somebody and truly respect that position. So those are the big picture goals of what I want my clients to reach as we do the training. And then about 4 years ago, I stepped off the plane. I stopped traveling nationally because my youngest went into high school, and I wanted to be closer to home. And so I went into a hyper-local mindset in an area where newspaper and radio are still very effective. And even the teenagers aren't using social like the rest of the world. And so I have an uphill battle of training, because while people know that social media is out there, they still think it's like this big brother thing. And so I'm going into year 4, and have decided to give it my best go in the next year of creating a social media school for the Valley and seeing what happens. And if at the end of that year my son graduates high school, if it's not, catching steam and being successful, then I'll make a decision on where I'm going next. And it may not be social media. I might decide to do the next 2 decades with a completely different hat on.
Wow.
Is that a good wrap
Yeah,
up?
that was awesome.
Perfect.
Good job. Good job.
Sorry, I've got a little bit of something in my throat here.
See, I would love to have her on. Well, maybe she can be on like Christie's.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Or
thinking.
mine.
Christie's
Mine's
or
later in the
Christy
afternoon.
and Sabrina is later in the afternoon. So
Yeah, mine's 3 p.m. on Tuesdays, and Christy is 2 p.m. today.
Okay, what time?
Eastern.
We're in Eastern time zone.
Yeah, there's Christy's link for today, April. So
And mine is actually twice a month. I do 2nd and 4th Wednesdays. Today's
Tell me
Wednesday.
what you guys-
2nd and 4th Wednesday.
Tell me what you guys do.
So bottom line for me, I'm a business coach consultant. I work with a lot of small businesses to business overall, starting with self-awareness. And that's either self-awareness for the individual, which happens to be the business owner, and that bleeds over into the branding for their business. So typically if a business owner is saying, my people aren't getting along, we don't communicate well, and marketing sucks, one of those 3 things, then they need to see me, and I start educating them, just like you do, educating them on how to do that. And it works into either consulting, coaching, or training.
mm-hmm. There you go.
Was that
And-
nice and succinct?
That was
Yes,
perfect.
beautiful, beautiful. And I hate to do this,
Go ahead.
but I have to go open the room up for the next team meeting. So hi to everybody new to the room, Richard. And if you had a name, I would call you that name. But April, big hugs to you, dear.
Love
Big
you.
hugs, Christy. Love you both. See you, Sabrina. Big hugs to you. I'm going to go off and now get some things taken care of. So have
Have a
fun.
good meeting.
Okay. Bye-bye.
April, I'm going to reach out to you on Facebook because I would love to meet up with you as well and just chat and find out, if we have any common ground. One never knows. Christy and I both have networking groups on networklivevirtually.com. We are out of time today. Ask WT Support. We are here weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern to Network Live Virtually. We'll be back tomorrow with more new people for you to meet. Today, my co-host is Christy Smallwood. And tomorrow we have Catherine Ewing and Coach Karen Fern. So April, I'm going to reach out to you. So just feel free to follow me, Ask WP Support, and you'll get notified tomorrow. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, turn off our recording. So thanks everybody for being here today, and we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern.